Well, hello, hello, hello there, everyone, all the mad scrappers out here. I am here to answer all of your questions. Hopefully, somebody has a question. So, hi, how are you guys doing out there? You having a good time? I'm hoping so. I don't want to be talking to myself. There we go. We got questions. Hey, Dieta, I see you there. Yay, a friendly voice. Helen, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for that. I have all kinds of stuff, and this is the pace I've had the most fun with, which is why I work with it. I'm like, something that is Mayra proof. That is a lot. Okay, that's saying a lot. But I'm glad that you enjoyed my demo. That was my point. Okay, the tool I use to rough up the edges, it's a Ranger. I think it's a Ranger tool. It's a Tim Holtz tool. It's his and I've had that little thing for forever. I think I probably need to replace it now because I've used it so much that the blade is getting dull. But you can get that. I've seen it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. You can get it online, but it's the Tim Holtz and it's through Ranger. Ranger's the one that makes it for him, okay? It's a great little tool, and trust me, it lasts you for years because I've had mine for years. So it's just really nifty. Okay, the green and the gold stuff, Renee, that is straight out Simon Hurley. It's Simon Hurley's paste. So you can get it. Ranger carries them. Everybody carries Ranger. Scrapbook.com. Your local scrapbook store would hopefully, in my case, I live well now not as close, but locally to Frank Garcia's studio. He carries it, and I go there to his store because I want to keep him going. He's my only local store left. But just about everybody carries Simon's Lunar paste. Simon Says Stamp does. I know scrapbook.com does. So take a look. You're going to find it there. The gold was, oh, you could kill me now. You're going to have to look in my feed to see the colors I use because they just left my brain right now. What inspired me? Yeah, I'm going to be honest. YouTube. I have been scrapbooking now. My goodness, 10 years. The whole thing started. Scrapbooking started with my daughter going to college, graduating from college in 2008. So I started literally in scrapbooking and making those 12 by 12 pages and albums, and then YouTube saved me in the card making. Probably, I want to say about the time of the breakout of the pandemic when the world shut down and I was locked with me, myself, and I, my personalities, at all by ourselves. And I started watching more YouTube like you guys do. And that really got me going. So I've not been card making that long, really. So we're talking what, 3 years, 4 years. So that makes me, not much farther ahead than you guys. So I'm not all that and a bag of chips, but I'm obsessive like most scrapbookers and card makers. So that's how I'm here. Okay, the best technique from reversing images to stamps. I am not your expert at that, but the one I have tried is to take your stamp and stamp it in your black ink of choice. Stamp it on a piece of acetate. So get some acetate that you don't care about anymore and stamp it on your acetate. Make sure it's good and juicy. Your stamp is good and juicy and moist. Stamp it good and firm, not too hard. You're going to know your stamp. Test it a little bit because the harder you press on some stamps, it'll kind of like blur the lines, but find that happy medium, stamp it. And then take that, flip it over, and stamp that image onto your paper from that acetate. I have tried that, and it works. You just, it's a, press it down, and you can, hold it, but, smush it, and it should work. You should have good luck with that. That's how I do it. Hey, Miss K, my favorite kind of paste right now is Simon's. Because I am like most of you, I have bought way too much stuff and not used half of it. But I wanted to do, and deciding what I wanted to do for the summit, I chose his pace just because I saw him demo it on a video from Creativation. I'm like, oh my goodness, I think I can do this. And again, trust me, guys, I am not your mixed media expert. If I can do it, you can too. Trust me on this. I wouldn't lie to you. So I love the Lunar pace. I am sold. I'm getting more. So now I'm going to try others because now it's like, okay, I got my confidence. If I can do this, what else can I do? So that's the evil plan. How long have I been crafting? My entire life. I have always crafted. I have always been, I'm the crafty sister of the two of us. I'm always, name it, I've done it. I toll painted for 20 years. And then I discovered scrapbooking, and that pretty much put the kibosh on toll painting. I haven't practically picked up a brush. So, and I have been doing scrapbooking now since 2008 when my oldest graduated from college. And I decided I'm going to make a scrapbook of her trip. And I avoided scrapbooking because I knew it was going to suck me in. And I was right. So I started with this little cardboard box of stuff, my little supplies for the album. And now I have overflowed a room. I don't even have room in my room for all my scrapbooking supplies. It has been just crazy. So there you go. One thing leads to another, and I love it. Okay. Used to scrape the glue off of the card at the end of your demo. Oh my goodness. Now I have to remember, what was it? Off the card. Oh my gosh, Sandy, I haven't watched my own video in a while. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember. Please reach out to me on my email. You can go to my YouTube channel, get my email, and send me a message. And then I'll watch my video and tell you what I used, because I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember now what I used. I'm trying to think of when I'm scraping stuff off, what do I use? And I'm drawing a blank, but I'm live here. So of course I'm going to draw a blank. If I were doing it, if I were even shooting a video, I wouldn't be a problem. But live, my brain is going to go brain damage. Forgive me, please. Delina, I'm in California. I live in Orange County. I'm in Fullerton, California now. So to anybody that's a SoCal girl, I'm your local yokel. I have lived here in the state my entire life. So we recently moved to Fullerton because we take care of my mother-in-law. I love it, kids. See, you are so right. It is, scrapbooking is a gateway drug. It has sucked me in. I went from having like I said, a little supplies to a whole room. Before we moved to Fullerton, I had the crafting corner of madness. Now I'm back to a crafting room of madness, and I still don't have room for all my stuff. I have a huge file cabinet, one of those medical ones that is more wider than, not narrow, but wide, full, and a 2x4 like IKEA thing. And I still have stuff in bins that needs to be gone through and organized. It may happen sometime, The dream scrap room is when we retire. Then I'll get my large dream scrap room. Now I'm kind of in the room that I have because, we share a house with my 94-year-old mother-in-law, who I love dearly. So I'm not begrudging that at all. Okay, Susan. See, you know what, Susan? I used my finger. You can use the Tim Holtz, the spongy tool. I used that originally, and you just dab it just like I did with my finger. So dab that, and then just like the same technique as I did with my finger, but do it with the dauber. And that either the little tiny black ones that you can stick on your finger, or the Tim Holtz ones, or scrapbook, the ones at scrapbook.com, the dome ones, all of those will work just fine. And that will work great. I just use my fingers because I wanted everybody to get a feel that, hey, you don't need a fancy tool to do this. And that way you don't ruin your manicure with your paint. Oh my gosh, what keeps me motivated? Dieta, you more than anybody knows that I've been through a rough patch lately, ladies. And I mean, I recently lost my mother, and I was recently in a car accident. So my motivation was already back. And then I had the car accident. So it's been like, really? So, I mean, it took me a few weeks. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Once you, I mean, it was like I wasn't even shopping or anything. So it just, sometimes you have to wait it out. Some days it's just like grabbing something, okay, I'm going to work on something and kind of force the issue, but not force it. And other days you got to give yourself a moment and let that motivation, your mojo come back. And I had to, after my mother passed, it took me about 3 weeks to start to even want to craft. And then once that it came, it was there, and I wanted to get started. And then I had a whole week of that, and then crash. And then now I'm back. I'm already back to putting up some videos, and next week I'm gonna start doing projects. At this point, I'm just catching up with the shopping I've done, so I give you guys a bird's eye view of what the shopper likes to get. And felt so odd. I didn't even feel like shopping, and that's saying a lot from me. So there you go. My favorite paper. Oh my gosh, I am all over the place with that. I mean, for like mixed media right now, I'm between it's Access, I think, or Accent. I have to look at the package, and I'm not in my scrap room. I'm actually house sitting for my sister. So you're seeing my sister's dining room. So I'm not in my room. I believe at that. And then Canson Bristol White. I love those for mixed media. Now for otherwise, for printed, I'm all over the place. I love Minte. Minte right now has me. I love Graphic 45. I love it. I discovered a new line through HSN, an evil place. Ciao Bella, they have, and they're European, just like me. Minte, they're both European companies. Crafters Companion has been getting me lately. Again, European, so it's not like I don't like US companies, but they're remaining with the style that I tend to like. I'm trying to think of what have I got in my stash right now. I've got oh my gosh, holy cow, what's this one company that I just saw an alert that oh my God, they have the cute little things. I can't think right now of some of my US papers that I absolutely love. It's, again, the brain damage from being online. But you'll see, if you watch my shopping videos, you'll see what I love. As far as solids, definitely I love, why can't I think of the paper that everybody has? I definitely like Tonic. Tonic has some really great solids. So does Simon Says Stamping. Spellbinders has come through with some really good and new colors. They're the ones I'm using a lot. And I have a lot of Spellbinders because I belong to their kit club. So I get paper every month from them. So I get that. Thank you, Diana, because I was going brain dead. What is my preferred cutting machine? You understand that you're talking to the woman that has all of them, right? I have the Cricut, I have a Brother, the Scan and Cut, and I have the other one. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I'm no good for you right now. Oh my gosh, who is the other one that I love so much? That is my go-to right now when I'm cutting SV cheese. It's, how can it have left my brain? Guys, I am so sorry for that. You had to hit me with a message, and I will tell you, I love the Cricut for production. I have the Air, and I love them for production. The Silhouette, thank you, Brandy. You have saved my life. The Silhouette is my go-to. I absolutely love it. I've got the 1, the 4, and the 5. And I love that. It is, I'll tell you, it has a little bit more of a learning curve to it, but I come from having Photoshop. So the learning curve for the software was not as difficult. The Cricut is more user-friendly if you have trouble with software. But I think, this is my personal opinion, okay? The Silhouette is more versatile, allows you to do more stuff. I mean, I designed my wedding invitation. I got remarried 5 years ago. I did everything using the Silhouette. Now, cutting the outside of my invitations, I used the Cricut. So I put both of them together. And then the Scan and Cut, go-to for stamps that you don't have the dies for. That is the absolute. So I have them all because why not? You know, I'm obsessive. I'm like most of you. What is my favorite ink? Okay, I'm all over the place with that. I have a lot of ink because, like a lot of other scrapbookers, I can't make up my mind. Right now, I use my Tim Holtz, my mostly both of his both of Tim Holtz lines. That's what I use a lot. I used to be a fun stamper journey coach, so I still have a lot of those inks and I love them. You can still get them through Spellbinders. That's a great ink. I have started in on Simon Says Stamp and Altenew. I love Altenew because I have a bunch of Altenew stamps because you can get the whole set to do a stamp. And those are really, really good. So those are currently my favorite stamps for black ink stamping. Hands down, I have the same one that everyone has, and it just left my brain. Why? I see I need to be at home to be doing this. So you guys, you're going to kill me. But it's the one that everybody uses. So, and I have a couple of them. But no, why can't I think? And I'm just going brain damage. So VersaFine, thank you, Brandy, for saving my life. That's the VersaFine. VersaFine is my go-to black ink. And that ink pad, if you're not familiar with it, lasts forever. I recently had to finally replace my original pad that was 10 years old. So, I mean, go figure. So it lasts forever. So that's your go-to. To get started with embossing, buy an embossing folder. Use any. Now, if you're just starting out, the 3D embossing folders are my favorite right now. And I have a ton. I've actually cut back some of I had to go through and purge embossing folders. But the 3Ds, my Tim Holtz's, are my absolute favorites, followed by Spellbinders. And I love the Spellbinders because they're big. They're 5.5 by 8. So you can use them to do a slim line, to do a 5 by 7, to do your A2s. It's everything. But because they have the bigger embossing, it allows you to do more fun stuff with them. And as you can tell, I use my Tim Holtz for my card, and I loved it. I loved using it because the higher, the more magic you can do with them. But you can use a regular embossing folder, okay? You don't have to be picky. Do anything and let your creativity, don't let yourself be afraid. And use your die cutting machine of choice. Again, I have them all. Now, my absolute go-to right now is I'm going back and forth between my Empress by Etta Griffin, and then I also have the Gemini from Crafter's Companion. But I tell you, when I'm in a jam, and either of those, or my Spellbinders, let me take it back, my Spellbinder 6. I have all 3 of those, and I have them all handy, so I use them all depending on what I'm doing. But my go-to when I'm in a jam and nobody seems to be working is my Sizzix, okay, my Big Shot. I have had Old Faithful for 10 years, and that one has never failed me. So you don't have to have an expensive electric one. You can get that one. If we need to start off cheap, you can find that one for $50 or less, and that would be my go-to. Okay. Jody, when I am starting something, I tend to have an inspiration piece. I am not any different than you are. I'm out there on Pinterest, or I catch somebody else's video. I'm like, oh, I want to do that, and I've done a series of videos that I want to make that card, but I don't have ... Whether it's I don't have the same, the die cut or the embossing folder or the stamp or whatever. And I use that as, okay, so what can I do? I mean, and not that I discourage people from buying stuff, because it doesn't discourage me, but sometimes I'm in a pinch for whatever reason. And I go, you know what, let me see what I've got in my stash. And I will go there with it to start with it, or I'll get something and I will say, okay, so what can I do with it? And I will look at it and I will start going. I'm like, okay, I want to do this and this and this and this. And a lot of it, I'm doing it while I'm doing videos showing what I've got. And this is something I'll suggest to all of you. What I am starting to do when I get something and I instantly know what I want to do with it. But I know me, I have a pea brain. So I immediately always have a sticky pad handy, and I write down what I want to do with it, and I stick it. Either I'll stick it to the package itself, or I'll slide it into the package. So I can come back to it in a week or two and remember what I wanted to do. Because sometimes I'll keep something handy because I want to do something with it. And I'll look at it and I'm like, I don't remember. What did I want to do with this? Oh my God, I've forgotten. And there you go. So that's what you can do to help you. But yeah, I'm no different than you guys. I look for inspiration sometimes as well out there. You never know what's going to hit. They're in the Sizzix Big Shot. My sandwich is just literally depends on what I'm doing. The 3Ds, literally, it can be just your plate. I use the main platform, the embossing folder, and the top one. If that doesn't work, and I know that you sit there and you have to play with these sometimes, depending on the folder. I think the ones I have the roughest time are the Tim Holtz, which also give you the best impressions, because I think his is the thickest right now. And if that doesn't work, I start literally fiddly farting with what I've got. I start pulling out my magic mat. I start pulling out other mats. I start pulling, I start using, like, I'll even pull out some of my shims. And you just have to fiddly fart. Do not be afraid, and just try it. If the machine balks, go to something else, because the last thing you want to do is break your machine or ruin your embossing folder. Not that I have experience in doing that, but for sure, I mean, I can usually do it with the platform and the one of the plates. Sometimes two, but usually it's just one of the plates. But if not, play with what you've got to get it to work. Don't be afraid of trying different things or bunches of paper if that's what it takes. Just use, stuff that you're not afraid to kill. So then, and there you go. That's my best advice. Hopefully that's good enough. Does I got me any other questions out there? Otherwise, I'm going to have to sing to you guys. You don't want me to sing. Trust me on this. So, I mean, what is my favorite color? Hands down, my favorite color is blue. It's been my favorite color my entire life. But right after it, and it's in the same family as teal. You will see me buy anything because it's teal. And I'll say that. You'll see me say that in videos. So right now, my favorite color is teal. In fact, I just got a Disney t-shirt because we're going to be going on vacation in 3 weeks to Walt Disney World. And we're doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. So I got a pumpkin t-shirt in teal. And I got somebody to get it for me out there because it'll say Walt Disney World. And Peanut Galler, who is my husband, we're getting one of him in black. So teal is it. And I tend to use it a lot. I tend to want to go for the teals or the blues, whether it's in paper or ink or whatever. Yes, I tend to gravitate to that color. I try to get out of it just so that I don't bore the bejeebers out of my viewers. But that's where I want to go. I want to go right now to teal and blue because they're my favorite colors, followed closely by red, because red is the color of life. So those are kind of like my go-tos right now. What else have we got, peeps? What else have you got for me? Is there a difference between the Lunar and the solar paste? I'm going to tell you what, Cynthia. I don't know. I've not used solar paste. Lunar paste is my first foray into pastes, and I have a bunch. I am ashamed to tell you that I have a bunch and have just sat there and stared at it because I'm a coward. So doing this made me, come out of my wheelhouse, come out of my square and do something different. And that's why I said it. I said it in my video. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because this was basically my first foray into using the Lunar paste. And I did it. The first card I did looked great. There is no doing it wrong. So just play with it. The worst that can happen is that you don't like it. And then you grab another piece of paper and emboss it and do it again and get a feel for it. And but you're still not going to get rid of that other one. Don't throw it away. You're going to use it anyway, because the person that gets that card isn't going to know you hate it. They're going to think, oh my God, I made, somebody made this for me and it's handmade and they're going to be all excited and they're not going to know. They're not going to know, people. I don't confess to my screw ups except on video. I will, you'll see me do it. And I tell this in every one of my videos, guys, if I don't make a mistake on camera, I'm not doing things right. I do every time. And then I just keep on trucking and I leave them in my videos and I keep on trucking, because you guys have to know that there are no mistakes. They are just opportunities for creativity. So long as you know that you never have to be afraid of making a mistake, you're less likely to make them and you're not going to be all flustered when you do. You just keep on going and you go. I even said in my video about not grabbing too much ink because you're going to blop it on. And then I went ahead and did it on camera. And then I just kept on going. And there you go. And you try to cover it up or you just leave it in there, because it is the beauty of a handcrafted item. Okay, guys, that's just it. Okay, guys, right now, do you have any other questions? Because it is about time to wrap up. And I'm going to thank you so much for coming. Make sure to tag me in the Facebook group. And if you see any cards, and look me up on YouTube, I will be there crafting the madness. Okay, so I'm going to say it now. I say this every time at the end of my videos. We're all a little mad here. Okay, so come on, let's craft the madness together. Okay, thanks a lot for watching my video, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys later. Bye.